What's good, everybody on YouTube? This is your boy Akil McLeod, and I'm a full-time eBay and Poshmark seller. And in today's video, I just want to share some hints and tips on how to be a better negotiator. Now, before I get into today's video, I just want to thank those of you that tuned in for my first live show. That definitely had a lot more support than I expected. I had about 80 people in there. I even had a few people donate a super chat. Yeah, I think you should be good when it comes to tax season. The only other thing that you should do is hold on to your receipts. $20 scholarship. Hey, my boy, college scholarship, $20. I appreciate you. Thanks for a quality education. Thank you very much. So I definitely appreciate you guys as well. And that was definitely my first live show. So that was my first time getting a super chat. So it was just like a dope feeling. And I really just appreciate you guys for just, supporting the channel and supporting me and just appreciating these videos. And I'm definitely going to continue doing more live shows. I think I'm going to start doing them every Sunday at 1 p.m. Pacific time. So that's 4 p.m. Eastern time, those of you on the East Coast. And I'm not going to start this Sunday because I'm going to a Lakers game and hopefully LeBron is back. But next Sunday we're going to start the live shows and keep that on a weekly basis. So stay tuned for that. And if you didn't catch my first live show, I'll put that in the cards and in the description below. But without any further ado, let's get right into the video. Honestly, number one thing for me when it comes to negotiations is to not take things too personal. And that's definitely something that I'm struggling with right now. Just for an example, anytime I get a lowball offer, let's say I have an item up for $100 and I get an offer for 15. Oh hell no! Chances are I'm not gonna send a message, I'm not gonna counter, I'm just gonna decline that offer, and there's a high chance of me losing out on a sale. But for me, like I said, I need to stop taking things too personal because there's a lot of people out there, yes, trolls do exist and just want to send you a bullshit offer, but at the same time, there's been several times where I was in a really good mood and I got a lowball offer on an item and I countered at maybe $5 less and I still was able to convert a sale. So I know the opportunities are there if you really just play the game and do the dance, but sometimes I'm not in the mood and I just decline that offer and I'm definitely losing out on money. So trust me, if you want to be a good negotiator, don't be like me, don't take things too personal, and even if you get a lowball offer, still counter, and sometimes even leaving a message with that counter can help you convert a sale. Next tip when it comes to being a good negotiator is to simply price your items correctly. Now for me, I like to base my starting price based on the average of the highest and lowest sales. So I don't really like to take the highest sold too seriously because that might just be a fluke. But if I see something consistently selling between 20 and 30 bucks, chances are I'm going to price my item between 25 and 30 bucks just so that I know my item is priced competitively and I won't really have to do too much negotiations because I already priced my item at a price where other people are more comfortable with paying for it. Now for the next tip, and this is definitely more for Poshmark users, when it comes to negotiating on Poshmark, it's a little different because there's not a real messaging service that you can really communicate with that buyer unless you make it public and you go into the comment section and do it that way. But what I like to do on Poshmark is sometimes I'll price my items just a little bit higher, and that means anywhere between 10 and 20%, just because I know most Poshmark buyers, they're always going to start their negotiations with an offer. They hardly ever will just buy an item straight out. Even if the item is priced really cheap, they're still going to send you an offer. If you have something priced for 14, they're going to send you an offer for 12. That's just how most Poshmark buyers operate. So I always like to price my item just a little bit higher. Like I said, 10-20%, just a little bit higher. That way when the offers do come in and they're a little lower, I'm kind of compensating for the lower offer because I priced my item just a little bit higher. So that's something you guys can do even on eBay as well. But the only difference is sometimes you might scare away buyers if you price your items a little too high, and if you price it too low, some people might think you're trying to hide something and there's something wrong with the item, so they might not be interested in the item at all. Now last but certainly not least, this tip is for eBay sellers, and this definitely just kind of lowers the risk of when someone buys an item, especially if you have your item priced at buy it now and they send you an offer for something lower and you accept that and then they don't pay for it right away. That's something that eBay has to change. But like I said, this can definitely help lower the risk of that. And I actually got this tip from a viewer in a previous video, and what they like to do is that if they want to accept that person's offer, they will send them a message and say, hey, I'm gonna lower the price and you have maybe 2 or 3 hours to purchase this item, and if you don't purchase it within that window, I'll just change the price back to what it was. And I think this is really effective because there's a lot of times when somebody might buy something from me but they just don't pay for it, and I have to wait either 2 to 3 days before I can relist it, and that just isn't good for business. So I do think by sending the buyer a message and just letting them know that you're gonna change your price only momentarily, just so that you can make sure that they're definitely gonna have to pay for the item right away, I think that is helpful, and I think that works. And I've used it a couple times, and some people, after I sent them a message, they just never went ahead and bought the item. And for me, it was good because I was able to just change the price back with no repercussions, and I eventually always sold that item for my full asking price. So that's just another helpful tip, and you can go ahead and try to use that one, and if it works, definitely let me know in the comment section. And if you guys have any other helpful hints or tips that you guys do when it comes to negotiating, drop it in the comment section and let me know, just so that we can keep the conversation going and I could just become a better negotiator, because trust me, I got a lot of work to do and I'm constantly trying to improve on it. But like I said, when it comes to these lowball offers, it really just pisses me off, and that's probably the number one thing that slows down sales for me. So if you guys have any comments or any questions, go ahead and drop them in the comment section. And as you guys can see, I still got my measuring tape on. I got a ton of listings to do. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.